Welcome to 843 TV. We are here at the Osprey Village Thrift on Main, which is a wonderful place to come check out.
Yes, well, I'm your host, Catherine Mademan.
And I'm Lisa Richardson.
And today, our guests, which I'm really excited about because we're going to get an update of what's happening at Osprey Village, are Heiss, who's the Director of Communications. We have Afzal, Alli, who's the Treasurer on the Board of Directors. And we have William Dennington, who is a local resident and a super tennis star.
You want to tune in and hear all the wonderful updates happening with Osprey Village, so stick around for this episode of 843 TV.
Where communities come to speak.
.843 TV, where the Low Country comes to speak.
.843 TV, where communities come to speak. Welcome to 843 TV at the Osprey Village Thrift on Main, which is always a fun place to come and check out. And sharing today is Heiss, who's Director of Communications. Thanks for having us back.
Hey, it's great to have you back, Lisa and Catherine. It's always good to see you.
And we've learned so much while we've been here in previous times. So give us an update on what's happening with Osprey Village.
Oh, things are so exciting right now. We're progressing very well on our ultimate goal to build a neighborhood in Hardyville. That's going really well. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's happening. Our operations are going well here. We're doing great on services. We just had an extremely successful fundraiser on May 18th aboard the Salty Dog. We sold the boat out and everybody had an awesome time. And on October 27th, as if that's not enough, we're having our annual golf fundraiser out at Oldfield. So things are really cooking here.
And I want to say mark your calendars for that October
27th.
27th.
You're probably playing that.
I would like to play in that. So well, that's, congratulations on having a successful fundraiser, number one, because it all helps with the project and the goal in the future of everybody and the community.
Exactly.
So but since then, we've been here a couple months ago. Besides those, what else is going on with the infrastructure of the buildings and things like that?
Well, we've been having meetings with the many entities that are involved in all of this. It takes a lot of moving parts. Let's face it takes a lot of people to do this. The people who donated the land and coordinated that have been very helpful. Everyone's giving us great advice. We actually are seeing the first building of the road. They started actually constructing the road that's going to lead in and out of Osprey Village. That should be done by late fall. So we're cooking. After that, we'll worry about buildings and various other things, but that's a little bit down the line. But we're off to a good start.
Well, that's exciting.
A very important mission of Osprey Village is empowerment, inclusion, respect, and all those things. Tell us about that. Elaborate on that, and how can everyone else help with that goal and mission?
Well, we can live it. I mean, it takes each individual. This is neighbor to neighbor. You change attitudes and you change society really one neighbor at a time. It's about living those values in everything we do. I mean, it's one thing you can dust off these words and you can say the right things, but if you live it, if you see somebody as an equal, if you give somebody an opportunity, if you see what they are instead of what they aren't, that makes all the difference in the world. So if we can all live that in our daily lives, then we're going to make progress.
I love how you put that, to see someone for what they are and what they're not. And I think that's a big challenge when it comes to dealing with folks with disabilities.
And
it's like our executive director said yesterday, it was a dream. Now it's reality.
Yeah. In our last show where we were here, one thing my takeaway was, if the community and the people with disabilities, they want independence. They want to live. They want to have the abilities to, and they want to be trained and given the opportunities. And I think that's really important because people don't recognize that they just want to go and live.
Right.
And they want to be able to be self-sufficient as much as they can.
Right. And everybody wants to count and everybody wants to be included.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody wants that.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I know that in the next segment, we're going to be speaking with one of the folks who has really benefited from the services that you all have. So what gives you all hope when you're dealing with these issues?
Well, I'll tell you. As an advocate, there's this idea that advocates are by their nature pessimists, and that's not true at all. We're some of the most optimistic people that you'll ever meet because we wouldn't do what we do if we didn't think we could make a difference, and that's optimism. I'm hopeful. Obviously, things along the way need to be changed and viewpoints need to be altered and the way we look at things has to be altered. But overall, I'm very optimistic. We're going in a good direction and we've got just the right community to do that. We're forward thinking. good people, and that's exactly what you need.
So let's step back for 1 second, because if they hadn't seen our previous show, tell us a little bit about the facility. How many beds and how do you see the structure and the design of it?
Well, you know what? We have 63 acres. 25 of those are buildable. We can do up to 140 units, I believe it is. Obviously, we haven't started that phase of it yet, but there's all kinds of potential for growth here. I mean, the East Argent development area, that is going to be a boom area in the next 10 to 20 years, and we're going to be part of it. So we're very excited about all the various businesses and things that are going to be going in there, and Osprey Village is going to be part of that. So it's quite exciting, and looking forward to it.
Coming up in 1 year from now is a very special anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Right.
Let's talk about that, and how has that changed really the dynamic of a lot of things that you're able to do and not do, and what are you all planning for that big special time?
Well, it's an interesting thing. It's opened people's eyes to things that maybe they weren't aware of. I think that, you know, in spite of the fact that it is legislation, and that is by its very nature can be confrontational, it also can be a unifying force if we all believe in not just the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law is what is going to bring this community together, and has. The reactions that I've had from people who want to do the right things and want to include people, you'd be amazed at how many positive reactions I've had. It's not all negative and confrontational, and we need to celebrate that spirit as one community, and that's what the anniversary is to me.
Well, well said, and I think that's very important to recognize and also say that, because, you know, think about in the last 30 years and how everybody's integrated into the communities, and it's a harmony thing, you know, and that's my new word, harmony. I want everybody to get along and everybody want to participate, you know, and that's terrific, and we have great respect for that, and I think, you know, Channing, thank you for sharing this with us this morning, and we will be right back with more 843 TV. We are back, and now we have joining us Afzal Alli, who is the treasurer on the board of directors here at Osprey Village. And I love hearing your story, so do tell our audience a little bit about yourself first.
Well, I am an immigrant from Guyana, South America. Migrated to the United States 30-something years ago. I've come here to South Carolina via New York, Maryland, D.C. Here I am, and met this young man. He lived in the neighborhood, and I saw him every day going to and from high school. And we became friends. Then our relationship migrated to father-son kind of thing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And he hangs out with me a lot. And I think he's trying to learn to be very independent because of Osprey Village. He wants to live there, and I think being independent, it's a place where it's going to be all-inclusive, and you know, he would fit in very nicely.
Yeah. So that's how you got to be on the board. Tell us the story. How did you get involved with Osprey?
I started out volunteering with Special Olympics and SOAR, and the director of SOAR, Kathy Kramer, she introduced me to Osprey Village. When the treasurer was leaving, she asked if I would like to join, and I said sure, and I was accepted by the board, and here I am. Since January, I've been treasurer of the board.
You have an accounting background, so that was perfect skill set for you, and you've become very passionate about this mission.
Oh yes,
Why
I do.
is that?
Because I get involved with the special needs. I call them special needs family. And every month or so, they have a party at Sparkleberry at the Forbeses, and I go there because I take him, and we have a wonderful time to see these special needs family so integrated, so loving, so caring. It's something that inspires me to want to do more.
And in a time when there's a lot of diversity and division, it's so wonderful to hear a story like that, isn't it?
Yeah. When you see them, they're colorblind. And that is what I admire about special needs. They are colorblind. They don't see color. Just they see people.
Right.
Amen to that. That's all I have to say.
Where did I go from there? But I wanted to also talk because of the passion and the relationship and friendship that you both have. Were you with the Olympics, the Special Olympics, before you met William?
No.
So that's how you got involved.
That's how I got involved.
And this one being the tennis star.
Well, he made me very passionate about it because he's so passionate about tennis and about sports in general. And the fact that he wants to be a sportscaster gives me the incentive to encourage him further and to get further deeply involved.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is there are a lot of challenges along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Share one or two of the largest you feel like are obstacles.
I think the largest, I wouldn't call it an obstacle. The challenge is getting donations for the village to start it. Honestly, I am a person of very few words and more action. And I would like to see the donations coming in.
Do we need monetary? Can we have gifts? Can you have,
We have
what
our
do you
two,
need?
We have our two
Fundraisers.
thrift stores.
Oh, okay,
Right.
of course.
We have
for
our
sure.
two thrift stores, one here and one in Oakty.
Okay, so
And
that's
donations,
okay. So you're looking for the monetary. part of it.
monetary donations also to start the capital, to start the infrastructure, to start the building.
Oh, also you want people to bring their items here to be
Of
sold.
course.
That's what I want to make
And
sure we
shop
have.
and
And
buy
shop,
them.
exactly.
I bought
and
a couple
shop.
pairs of shoes last
Yes,
night.
sir.
Actually,
I met one lady
There's really-
recently. She gave a donation monetary, but she said, I'm always at Osprey Village on Main Street. I'm always at the store. She brings stuff and she buys stuff.
Right.
well,
So this is a mission that the community can rally around.
Of course.
Certainly listening here today, if your heart is led to do that, they would also take any kind of help and volunteers.
Oh,
How do they get a
definitely.
hold of you all?
Well, we have a website, www.ospreyvillage.org, and I give out these cards. We printed these cards for the cruise, and we've printed so many that I give them out, and donations are coming in, and people are visiting the website, and they're getting involved.
wow.
And you're a volunteer. I don't know if
Yes.
we had mentioned that or not. So just to see your excitement and your passion and knowing that you're
Thank you.
doing this on your own time is
Oh, yeah.
really quite an incentive.
It is.
Because I'd like to ask now, William, having this friendship with Afzal. So tell me, how is it for you? What has he brought to you?
He's brought a lot to me. He's made me realize that my life is so different, because I never had a friend like him before because, my life was so different when I lived in Pennsylvania for 13 years. And once I met him, I figured that me and him would start bonding and having chemistry, like being good friends and hanging out and all that. And I've really come to loving hanging out with this man.
Oh, that's very, and it's nice to have that relationship.
He's a fantastic kid.
We know that. He has a big smile. When I walked in, you had a big smile too.
Always.
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 I know.
One of our questions to ask you is, are you optimistic about the great opportunities? I think you've clearly answered
Very,
that already.
Very
That
optimistic.
certainly yes.
Oh, yes. Very.
So what can you tell the audience? What do we need to do?
We need more people getting involved
Okay.
in volunteering, in donating, in spending time. And one lady I met at one of these parties, she said if each family or a family could care for a special needs person, like I do for William, we would be so much better in this world. And they would have a happier and a more fulfilling and contented life. Because from what I see from him alone and the others, once they get involved and others, adults, get involved in this community, in this special needs family,
Yeah.
you could see the difference in their faces, in their actions, and the way they interrelate
Yeah.
with each other and with adults.
I agree with you 100%. I've been in some events and like that, and it's just wonderful to see the families and everybody grow,
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you for sharing your hearts, first and foremost.
Thank
and
you.
all stay right here. We'll be back with more 843 TV. Welcome back to 843 TV here at Osprey Village, Thrift on Main. Joining us now is William Dennington. He's a local resident and he's got a lot to share with us. William, good to see you again.
Thank you.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
I work at Buckwalter Publix. I lived in Bluffton for about, I'd say 5 years now. And I am a part of Special Olympics for 5 years. And I've won 9 gold medals.
Ah,
And what's your sport?
My sport is tennis.
Really?
Yes,
So you're
ma'am.
in the tennis capital of the world here, you know. Well, that's exciting. And do you train daily?
I train at least every week. Every week.
Wow.
And it's great.
let's talk about Osprey Village and the services that they offer in the housing that's coming down the pike. What does all that mean to you?
Basically means to me is that I like that everybody, you know, is going to get to live there, and I'm going to get the opportunity to live there so I can learn how to develop like more skills about living on my own, and unless I don't live on my own. It's going to be a great thing for me because I've never ever lived in a place like that before, but it's going to be very interesting.
Mm-hmm. What would you like to learn?
I would like to learn more about, you know, paying my own bills. That's a start. And I also would like to learn, you know, just cooking, you know, food for, you know, just for myself, you know, because I usually cook for my dad, but, you know, I would like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Channing, we talked previously about Osprey Village is trying to help promote a lifestyle, and some of the things that William mentioned is kind of feeding toward that, just to be independent, self-sufficient. So share with a little bit about that with us, how you're going to make that happen.
Right, we're trying to build up where everyone can lead a more independent and really more adult and 360-degree lifestyle. Not only are we going to have safe, very attractive lifestyle options. If you want to live by yourself, that's great. You want a roommate, that's great. We're also going to have access to life skill training, job placement, social activities that are going to be both on campus and off campus, because we want to bring this neighborhood out to the community, but we also want to bring the rest of the community out into this neighborhood. So it's a reciprocal thing. So all kinds of things going on, not just jobs, but social things, and just really respecting the full range of what it is to be a human being and live your life.
Mm-hmm. You know, let me ask you this: when, along with work, what other programs are you involved with? What's a day in the life of you?
I'm a part of usually with sports, and I usually sometimes go out and commentate for Bluffton High School. I do it for their baseball, for their football team, and it really gives me this opportunity to get more into the sports casting, because ever since I was young, I had this dream of becoming this ESPN sportscaster that I sorely desire.
What makes you so excited to do that with sports?
Basketball and everything, you know, because ever since I watched it when I was young, I got into this thing where I was like, all right, that's going to be me, you know, I'm going to be the guy talking on ESPN, giving all the stats, everything, you know.
Do you watch the drafts by chance?
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh, just like my son. He watched the drafts, all of them. You know, and I sense that from you. You're very analytical, and I can sense that you're a very smart, bright guy. And I love to hear you as a sportscaster, how you would call a baseball game or how you call the football game. You know, I really hope that dream comes true for you.
I really hope so too, because it would be amazing for me, because it would make me really feel so proud about what I've accomplished in my past.
Back to some of those life skills that you wanted to try to learn. You mentioned paying bills and cooking. Are there any other things that you feel like the community can support you on?
Cleaning my own house would be one, because I'm
Hey,
not
that's something that all of us can do. You're not alone on that.
We don't get that one.
Cleaning my bathroom would be another thing, because I'm not really good at that, but I'm just learning right now. My dad still takes me step by step, but learning it would be great for me, because once I start getting into that feeling, I'll know what it takes to live by myself.
Yeah.
And to be whole, as you use that
Yes,
word,
that's-
and I love how you use the 365
Right, exactly.
idea.
It's about living a whole life and not just being limited to one little definition of yourself.
Yeah. In the program presently, how many participants do you have?
Well, we have several different programs. We have We have respite and we have job coaching services. Respite right now has about 20, and job coaching has about 6 right now. Ultimately, what we're going to hope when the village gets built is phase 1 is going to end up with 50 to 75 initial residents, and then we'll build out from there.
Okay, so now we understand. That's a nice building. I mean, that's a nice community. It's large enough where you have a diversity and all that, and yet it's small enough that you have containability.
And the timetable is around 2 to 5 years for getting that started.
Oh, very nice. Are you part of any programs right now, William?
Not right this second. My plan is to try to be a part of programs because, you know, there's this thing where I don't want to be at my house a lot of times. I definitely would like to, you know, be more about going out there, global messenger, and Kathy Kramer's going to help me out with that.
Channing, as you've gotten to know William, what are some things that stand out to you as far as his personality, and what are you excited about being able to do for him?
Well, he's become a good friend in a very short time. We like hanging out together, talking about sports. He talks
Yes,
about
we
the
do.
Phillies. I talk about the Cubs. The Cubs are a much better team. I hate to tell you that. But, I mean, he's just fun. I mean, we get along. We have a great rapport.
Yep.
And, in fact, we were just together yesterday, and I found out firsthand what a good ESPN analyst he would be because, I mean, he can talk a blue streak about any sport you want to talk about. And I'm sitting there just going, how do you have all those statistics and how do you just analyze everything? But I would enjoy seeing you on ESPN. I've got to admit, I would really enjoy that. So, yeah, it's been great. We've only known each other for a few months, but it feels like a lot longer.
You know, it's been so enjoyable, isn't it? William and Channing, thank you so much for joining us. And
Yeah, and come by and check out the wonderful items here at the Thrift Shop on Main Street. And thank you for watching this episode of 843 TV.
where communities come to speak.